Just got to get this right here. So we're going to get started in just a little bit, guys. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Guys, please hit the like button as you come in. And we are going to talk about that God has been using the elements in order to purify the earth, and so the chosen ones. So we have this understanding that a lot of the chosen ones have taken what God has given us, because we're seeing right now in real time God purifying the earth. You are seeing floods in Washington. We have been seeing floods in Texas. We have been seeing floods in New Jersey, in places that are not usual, for flooding. We have been seeing floods all over the places. So when these types of events take place in our lives, then God is using the elements in order to purify the negative energy that has been sent out from men. So we understand this, that we are also seeing earthquakes. We have seen the earthquake in Alaska. We have seen the earthquake that happened in Japan. And I think it was a 7.6 magnitude earthquake. We have always known that California has had earthquakes. So when you see these types of events where God is opening up the earth, swallowing buildings, swallowing streets, cars, people, then there is a scourge upon the land that he is cleansing. This has also happened in the times of the biblical times and the Quranic times. And we're going to get to that, but we want to make sure that we are able to have this visual of God cleansing the land. And then I'll give you some of the ways that chosen ones also cleanse themselves and cleanse negative energy from themselves in the same way. And we have taken this type of cleansing methods. We have taken this, from the holy books, what God has given us, and the things that God has used with the elements to remove that negative energy. So he also uses the wind in order to remove negative energy, hurricanes, tornadoes up on the land, wiping away crops, wiping away houses. We have seen so many houses float down the river this year. And it is because of the corruption that people have sent out with their hearts. The corruption, the attacks that they have sent upon certain groups with the disease of their hearts. Those people who have sent out racist attacks. Hello, Kevin Astola, 933. Assalamu alaikum. So when we are seeing these types of, cleansing, God is cleansing the earth. And, you have to understand that, again, these types of cleanses happen upon the earth. Guys, hit the like button, please. In the time of Noah with the floods, when there was so much corruption, so much, negative energy, evil that was upon the land, that God cleansed the land with a flood. And we are living in these times right now. So we have an understanding that these three elements especially are some of the ways that God will use to cleanse the earth from the negative energy sent out by the witchcraft, those people who are using, attacks upon certain groups of us, the black and the brown people, those people who are using spell work as a means to put it into law. They're sending spells out over our lives in order to, put certain things into law against us. So when we are understanding that, then we also understand that we have been seeing the fires upon the earth. And we seen the fires in Canada last year. And I think this year too, in the beginning of the year. We saw the fires in California, mudslides in California. We've also been seeing the fires around different places in China where the 7 high-rise buildings caught on fire. So we want to make sure that we are cleansing ourselves and keeping ourselves away from those types of, behaviors that will bring the wrath of God up on us. So we want to also understand that how we are able to use the elements for ourselves in order to cleanse negative energy from our surroundings, from our spaces. We are able to use these kinds of cleanses in order to, stop that growth of negative energy in our lives, in our homes, in our relationships. And these types of things is the correlation that I was giving you. It comes directly from the holy books. It comes directly from God that we can use these things. It comes directly to us that you will have in Surah 7 and 155. That, Moses chose 70 of the men to meet at the meeting place of God. And the earth started to shake because of, the evil that they had done. The earth, it was an earthquake because they had made the golden calf at that time. So you can read Surah Al-Araf 7 and 155 for yourself. And we're going to look at the Holy Bible. The Holy Bible, it is in accord with what is being said here. That the negative energy that has been sent out up on the earth, God will cleanse that negative energy with the elements. So we have Luke 21 and 11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famine and pestilence and fearful sightings and great signs shall there be from heaven. So we have that also in the holy books that are in alignment, that God cleanses the negative energy with the elements. So we are able to purify ourselves from negative energy. We are able to purify the attacks upon us. We are able to return to sender that negative energy to the ground. Guys, hit the like button, please, as you come in. You're able to return that negative energy that has been sent to you from those narcissists, those spiritual narcissists, those people who have tried to send the evil eye to you. They have tried to send stumbling blocks to you, to your feet, stagnation to your growth, stagnation to your finances, attacks upon your relationships, your children. So those types of attacks upon you can be sent to the ground and purified by the ground. And I can give you an example of that. So when people have made negative images of you, your likeness, if they have made, any kind of, dolls or anything like that, effigies, clay dolls of you, if they have used your picture, if they have used anything that belongs to you, your personal items, your shirt, your pants, your socks, your hair, your nails, anything of that nature, then those types of negative attacks upon you can be purified, and once they have been undone, they can be buried in the ground, and they can, it can be purified with holy water so that that negative energy does not keep attacking you. It can be buried on consecrated ground so that that negative energy does not keep attacking you. And so this is how we purify our lives from those attacks from spiritual narcissists. So you also want to understand that purifying your body and your mind is very essential to using the elements in order to do that. Using water to purify your mind and your body, because in many cases, the spiritual narcissist or the narcissist wants you to think filthy. They want you to do dirty things. They want you to use your body in a filthy way. They want you to, be unclean, because they are trying to get unclean spirits to enter into your body, into your life. So once you start to purify these types of things with purified water, with holy baths, with foot washings, once you start to purify those psychic attacks from narcissists with the four thieves vinegar, different kinds of waters, with the holy water. There have been many clients that I have had to cleanse the negative energy from their mind, from their body, with the four thieves vinegar or the holy waters, to cleanse those attacks from psychic attacks or the evil eye in that way. So God has given us the elements, and we mimic this, and we take these cleansing holistic medicines, holistic rituals from the holy books in order to cleanse negative energy out of our lives. So there are different purifying methods, especially when you add in the herbs. When you add in the herbs, a tea bath is a way to cleanse that type of negative energy, upon your body, in your life. And so we are able to send that negative energy, return to sender, back to the person. We are able to identify the person who has sent that negative energy. We also like to use our healing methods. We have to use our voice. That's why we are able to speak the way that we are. We have to use our voice. In many cases, I understand that the Holy Quran is supposed to be spoken in melodious tones. I'm not a singer. So, I can, harm it and say certain things, but you should speak the word of God. You should be connected to God. You should be praying every day, reading from the holy books every day in order to have that kind of connection to God. And this is what I wanted to make sure that we're using, the breath that God has given us, the discernment that God has given us for the air around us in order to stop those attacks upon our lives. We are using what God has given to us in the holy books to discern the negative energy, and we're using the elements in order to stop those attacks upon our lives, in order to stop the negative energy from growing, from becoming generational curses. So therefore, you want to use different things that you can take from the earth. You can take, and use the eggs. In many cases, we use eggs to remove the negative energy. An egg cleanse is very, effective against negative energy that has been sent. And especially if you know the person that has sent that negative energy out to you, you can use that egg as a type of return to sender, and throw that, where that person is at, where they live at, where they work at. You can throw that on their car, wherever they are, if you know who the persons are. So that's why it is important to identify these persons, and understanding that those persons that have been identified, they're going to monitor you. They are going to come and try to see if the negative energy has gone forth in your life. And as you use what we take from the earth, what we use, the liquid of the egg is going to absorb that negative energy that has been sent out. So this is why we have to use the elements, what God has given us, and we can cleanse ourselves, from psychic attacks in this way. And again, I have used, the 4 thieves vinegar. And I have used that as a ritual with an egg cleanse as a progressive method in order to remove that negative energy that has been sent out to a client. So as we understand that we have to use the same rituals and the same methods that God has given us in order to cleanse this negative energy, in many cases for progressive methods, then I also have to, go to a progressive method as well and use a brown egg. Sometimes the white eggs are not, potent enough. So I will have to use a brown egg in order to remove that type of attack and negative energy, the agenda that someone has for my client, to remove the negative energy, the stagnation off of their feet, to remove those generational curses that have been laid upon them for longer periods of time, usually most of their life. So this is how we are discerning how to use the elements and how we use these elements to remove negative energy. So in a lot of the clients, in a lot of the cases where clients come to me and they have psychic attacks upon their mind, where they have, bad health because they feel that they have been attacked, they have been sickened by people who are sending the evil eye and psychic attacks, then we want to, also understand that the meditation and sending negative energy to a black candle and lighting that candle, and letting it burn all the way out. Once you're sending that negative energy to a black candle, a lot of my clients, I give them, information on how to circle their head with that egg or that candle counterclockwise. So it returns that negative energy back up on the person who has sent it. And that person is identified in your life. And these are just some of the rituals that you can do. These are just some of the methods until you can, come to me and let me know what's going on in your life. And we put together a progressive method to stop those attacks in your life. These are just some of the methods that you can use, until you can reach out to me. So, it will help you to stop the negative energy from growing in your life. So, when you want to do this meditation ritual, this cleansing ritual, it also cleanses the space. And those people will be identified because they are going to come and try to find out why that negative energy isn't growing in your life the way that it needs to. You will be able to identify those people, and you will be able to understand that these people have been sending the negative energy. You have identified your enemies, your haters. You have identified those people who want to keep you from growing in life, who want you to be stagnated. So these are just some of the ways that we use some of the holistic method. And, I am prone to, give you some of the things that I have already given you. In my cleansing healing journey, I have had to use different kinds of healing rituals. And so I like to use the tea baths. I like to use the tea baths so you can cleanse yourself with the hyssop water. You can take a bath with it in order to cleanse your mind, body, and soul from any kind of attacks. You can read the 51 chapter of Psalms to cleanse any kind of attacks upon you. I was able, as a young person, I was able to use these types of cleansing methods, to cleanse my room. Please hit the like button, guys. Thank you. I was able to cleanse my space, the air, and I was able to tell the family members that were trying to, attack, that were trying to, send negative energy, and it neutralized that energy inside of the home. When you cleanse yourself with the hyssop, when you cleanse yourself with the mint, you take a hyssop bath, a mint bath, you're praying over your spaces, you're using the air. We are able to remove those negative energies, from ourselves. Now, we also have those ways of removing negative people from our lives as well. When you have identified those mothers, fathers, sisters, or brothers, those friends, those people at the job, then you want to put salt down behind those people, and you want to sweep that behind them. And that's how we use, the return to sender. We're sweeping those negative spirits that they tried to dump off in our house. We're sweeping that behind them so that they go with them, so that they do not return to our home with that negative energy. So that's how we use the earth and the dust in order to remove negative energy from our surroundings, people that do not need to be in our lives. This works well on the job. It works well anywhere where there is persons attacking you. It works well with people who are family members. It works well with people who are in relationships that have been attacking you. So you always want to use these types of negative, you want to use these types of cleansing negative energy to keep those kinds of narcissists and spiritual narcissists at bay. So we also have different ways that we can use these types of cleanses, and we can apply them to our lives. We can apply them, directly to our lives, and we can do this every week. We can do a cleansing method, a cleansing ritual every week. Because with the earth, God does not stop removing the negative energy that people have sent out. God will use many different methods, the water, the earth, the wind, and fire, in order to remove and rejuvenate the earth, remove those negative scourges up on the earth that men have sent out with, their hearts and their minds, as warlocks and witches up on the earth, sending negative energy to God's chosen ones, the chosen ones of God, the chosen children of God. So we are able to identify and cleanse that negative energy, from the holy books, from what God has given us. So that is why we are able to, break those spells that have been over us all of our lives, those generational curses that are trying to go into our children. We are able to cleanse that negative energy. You can easily you do an egg cleanse even on your children. If you feel like someone has sent the evil eye to your children, you can do an evil, remove that evil from them. I've had many people, clients, reach out to me and ask me to do a cleansing on their children, especially if they have been born with attachments. If they have attachments where, they are, schizophrenic, if they are autistic, there are many people that have called me and asked me to remove any negative energy that has been attached to their children, especially when they are newborns, when they are very young. But when they have attachments, when they are born with attachments, you are able to clear that negative energy from them. You can use the egg method, egg cleansing method, but you will need to cleanse that negative energy from them before they turn, before they pass 13 years old, before they turn 13 years old. So this is why we have these different methods that God has given us from the earth to cleanse negative energy, because a person can be born with attachments. They can be born with a generational curse, higher spirits attached to them, where a lot of people think that these types of people have, cerebral palsy, or they look at them as the clinical name that they have. If they are violent, if they are, sadistic and destructive in nature, then in many cases they are narcissists, and they are the demonic, they are the toxic, and that negative energy, the spaces can be cleansed. So all is not lost. So a lot of people have these types of understandings. They use these rituals, the elements, the water, in order to purify the ground. Again, just like Noah did. Just like Noah, when in the time of Noah, when God told him that it was going to flood. There are many prophets of the Holy Bible that have used the elements in order to cleanse the negative energy from their surroundings, from the people. Yes, there are many people, prophets, that have used the elements in order to cleanse negative energy. But, like I said, I have given you Surah Al-Araf 7 and 155, where, the men had an earthquake because they had been, doing wrong and didn't say anything about them building the golden calf at that time. So I want you to read those verses for yourself. You can also read the 51 chapter of Psalms in order to cleanse negative energy. It also talks about washing away negative energy. And this is how we have derived using the elements from the holy books. The dirts, sweeping the dirts behind people, sweeping the salt behind people. This is why we use those methods, the putting the dirt on, putting the salt on people's foot tracks, the dirt of their tracks, so that they do not return to our homes. Purifying our minds from those attacks with the holistic waters, with the 4 thieves vinegar, with the holy water, in order to remove those attacks, those psychic attacks. We can also, again, transfer that negative energy during a meditation moment to candles. We can transfer that negative energy by, circling that candle counterclockwise, so that that negative energy goes back to the person and they are identified. And it works well. It works better when you have identified your attacker, when they have started monitoring you, when they have started, to stalk you, to see why that negative energy is no longer moving forward in your life, and that higher spirit has been returned to sender. So I thank all of you who have reached out to me. I thank all of you who have supported me. I appreciate all of you. You can like, share, and subscribe to me. Hit the like button as you come in. You can book your one-on-one sessions. If you have been attacked and you want to use any of these methods, or you need a progressive method in order to cleanse yourself and purify your spaces and your surroundings, please like, share, and subscribe to me. Donate to my channel. You can also leave a comment for me. And again, you can do a consultation with me, book your life coaching sessions or your video chat sessions. I'm High Oracle, Reiki spiritual healer. Assalamu alaikum.